everyone. My name is Brandon Query Bey. I am the Healthy Initiatives Coordinator at Lost River Market in Delhi. What I'd like for each of you to do right now is take just a few seconds to comment in the comments below on this video and just post your name, what your favorite food is, and what you hope to get out of this program. Today we're going to be making two recipes. One of them is the Works Pizza and the other one is going to be a basic fruit salad. The key to preparing a meal at home in an efficient way is to have a plan. So the first step is to get out all your ingredients and all your cooking utensils. For the pizza, we're doing cremini mushrooms, 1 pizza dough, 2 tomatoes, bag of mozzarella cheese. We'll need a green and a red pepper. I actually chose a couple of older peppers that are a little bit wrinkly, as you can see there. The reason being, I knew that we would be cooking this meal, and so it was a good way to use a little bit older produce. Or canola oil, 1 onion, basil, parsley, and oregano, and then pizza sauce. For our fruit salad, 1 can of pineapples, 1 cup of grapes, 2 bananas, and a kiwi. Our utensils we'll be using today are 1 colander, a cutting board, 1 large bowl, measuring cups and spoons, a pizza pan, a can opener, and a sharp knife. And if you don't have grated cheese, you'll want to also get out your cheese grater. Alright, so before we start prepping our vegetables or anything, go ahead and set our oven to 450 degrees so that it'll be all nice and toasty once our pizza is ready. Before we begin handling our food today, we want to be sure that we wash our hands thoroughly. This means washing our hands for 20 seconds with soap and water and really lathering our hands well, especially if we're cooking for children, elderly, or anyone with a compromised immune system. Now that our hands are clean and washed, is going to be washing our produce. For the pizza, I'm going to be washing the cremini mushrooms and the 2 peppers. In your nutrition video today, you guys learned a little bit about the Choose My Plate or My Plate here, and you'll each have this in your booklet. So what this does is it provides a great framework for how to design a plate or a meal. In today's meal, we have our fruit with the fruit salad. We have grains from our pizza dough here. We have vegetables, lots of vegetables here, peppers, tomatoes, onion, mushrooms, and we have dairy. In this particular meal, we do not have protein, but we do have 4 of the 5 My Plate food groups there, and so this meal would qualify as a balanced My Plate meal. So we're going to start our recipe and preparing our recipe by dicing up our vegetables. So we have an onion, our tomatoes, and our peppers that we're all going to dice, and then we're actually going to slice our mushrooms. So there's different cuts. There's a dice, there's a chop, there's a slice. If you're unfamiliar with any of those different terms, check out page 18 in your booklet, and they will guide you and define for you what each of those cuts looks like. So today I'm going to be showing you how to dice an onion. And what I do is I begin by cutting off both ends. Peel the skin off, throw that to the side. Then I like to take it and cut it in half. And so what this does is it gives you a nice flat surface to work on when you set this on your cutting board. Then what I do is I take my onion and I do slices like this. And once you have it like that, then you're coming towards your fingers. So you want to use this knuckle position. This keeps your fingers back. And go like that. So now what we have are these pieces like this, and they will fall apart into little diced pieces of onion. And we will continue this process with all our vegetables. With the peppers, you want to be sure to get the seeds out of here. So what I do is take that and just kind of pull the white flesh out of there, knock any seeds out. And so the way I like to do peppers is you do strips. So this would actually be a sliced pepper. What we want is a diced. So then we're going to take these strips and cut them into little squares. Now for a tomato. Get the sticker off there. Cut the top off. We're going to cut our tomato in half. And we're going to do slices. And slice, and then go the other way. So you're doing like a grid. Make sure to keep your fingers back when you're doing that stuff. I'm going to finish chopping this stuff up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so our last vegetable is our mushrooms. And just slice them. So you're just doing that first step. All I did was add my vegetables to the skillet. I put a little bit of canola oil or vegetable oil in the bottom of it so that they can cook. And then I'm going to turn my oven on to about a medium setting there. And I'm going to let these guys start to simmer for just a few minutes. This will help release some of the flavors in there and get things mixed together for a pizza. So while our veggies are over there sauteing a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start pushing down our pizza dough. Dump that on there. We'll spread that out. All right, next we're going to need our 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon. And we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of basil, a 1/4 teaspoon of parsley, and a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. Try not to get it all in one spot. Mix it around a little bit. Chef notes, you can see that you can add parsley as an optional seasoning. I went ahead and opted into using that. You do not need to use it if you do not want to. Same with oregano and basil. You really don't need to use them if you don't want to, but they will add more flavor and create more of those Italian flavors that we come to expect in pizza. All right, so we're just checking our veggies. They're over here sauteing. I'm going to stir them up a little bit just to make sure that they're cooked evenly. They're going to cook down pretty quick, and then they'll even cook a little bit more once we get them into the oven. All right, we have our pizza dough with sauce and basil, oregano, and parsley. We have our sauteed vegetables, and we have our cheese. So we're going to first spread on some cheese, spread on our vegetable mixture, and this baby will be ready to be popped into the oven. It's okay if you have a little bit extra vegetable mixture. You can use that in something else. You could incorporate it into some tacos. You could just eat it the way it is. You could make some rice and put it over rice, however you want to do it. All right, we have our pizza. It's ready to go into the oven. The recipe calls for the pizza to be cooked 20 to 25 minutes. Be sure to check it around 20 minutes to see how your crust is doing. We don't want to burn it. You will also find in the chef notes, it tells you that if you want a crispier pizza, you can pre-bake your crust for about 10 minutes so that it has already begun to cook. Add your toppings and then put it in for another 20 minutes. While we're waiting on our pizza, we are going to start preparing our fruit salad. I've done a couple things to get us started here. I went ahead and washed our grapes thoroughly. I went ahead and peeled our kiwi. And I also went ahead and drained our pineapple juice from our pineapples and put it in this pot here. And we're going to put this pot on the stove and let it simmer for just a few minutes and let those juices kind of thicken up, and then dump them over the rest of our fruit. So what we're going to do now is chop and or dice our fruit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mix. I'm going to chop our bananas. I'm going to leave the pineapples the size they are. They're already diced. I'm going to dice up the kiwi, make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm just going to leave the grapes the way they are. You can slice the grapes in half if you want, but it's a little bit extra work, and I don't want to mess with that. So one thing you're going to notice about this fruit salad is we did make some adjustments to it. We actually added grapes and took away the frozen fruit. The reason I did that is I wanted to make this fruit salad a little bit more budget friendly. Frozen fruit can be pretty expensive. Now we have our fruit. It's all mixed up. We simmered our pineapple juice. It's thickened up a little bit. We're just going to pour that over the top. All right, we're going to mix all this together. And that's it. The beauty about fruit is almost all fruits go together. You can really mix and match these fruit salad recipes however you want. Go to page 20 in your booklet. You will find a recipe framework on modifications that you can make to recipes. This will include vegetable substitutes, fruit substitutes, even grain substitutes. So there's different kinds of fruit that you can look at and substitute in and out of this recipe. We could have easily done fresh blueberries or fresh strawberries. You could add toasted almonds or toasted coconut. There's chef notes in the recipe with some recommendations, but it really comes down to you expressing yourself and making a fruit salad or any recipe that you enjoy eating. All right, everybody, congratulations on completing your first Cooking Matters recipe. Next step is going to be portioning this stuff out. So we want to talk a little bit about portioning meals and how that's changed over the last 20 or 30 years. Check out your diagram. You're on page 4 of your booklet, and it'll just show you how serving sizes have changed drastically. Something else that's really important to living a healthy lifestyle is physical activity. So that's why this week for our engagement activity, which you can find on Facebook under Lesson 1, I'm asking each participant to think about the physical activity that's currently in their life, what you're doing for physical activity, and ways that you can incorporate more physical activity into your life. So for your exercise this week, no pun intended, I would like all of you to write down one way that you can incorporate a little bit more exercise into your weekly routine. Then specifically state when you would incorporate that physical exercise and where it would be incorporated. Make a post on Facebook in our Facebook group with all that information, what the exercise is, when you are going to do it, and where. And then by next week, we will discuss whether you were able to incorporate a little bit more physical activity into your weekly routine. I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us during this cooking video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next week.